Right, so I wanted to get on here today to discuss why the harder the move, the better. And you get strong in the moves that actually matter when you're training. Too many people start off trying to do the fancy stuff first. And in reality, the stuff that's boring and isn't that fun to do is the stuff that's going to get you to the place that you want to get to in the gym. And it's not going to be fun to do. It's not going to entertain you in the gym, but you've got to think to yourself, what do you want? Do you want fun in the gym, or do you want to look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of what you see? And if it's the latter, then the gym's the right thing for you to be doing. Training's the right thing for you to be doing. But you want to make sure the time that you put into the gym isn't going to waste, because at the end of the day, everyone's got busy lives, and there's a lot going on, and we don't want the gym to take over our lives. We want to put the work in, we want to be consistent, and we want the results, but we don't want to be in the gym for hours and hours, and then on top of that wondering why nothing's changing and you're not getting the results that you think that you should be. So to avoid this, you've really got to accept that the harder the move feels, the better it is for you, and the closer it's going to get you to your goals. And training is simple, it's not complicated, but it's not easy. Showing up every day and putting in the reps and the sets when you don't want to, when you're tired, when you've had a long day at work, it's not what you want to do all the time. But it's not a complicated process. It's just, okay, I feel this way, but I still have to go to the gym and get my workout in. There's not much more to it, apart from the fact you've got to get your workout in with intention, with purpose, and with focus and structure. You don't need every single exercise under the sun, and you don't need to be switching it up every couple of weeks and thinking, and overthinking the training. You just need to hit all the body parts, and you need to hit them with intensity. It doesn't matter what the move is. The moves are all quite simple, and I'll get into them in a minute, but I just want you to understand that it's not about the exercise, it's about how you execute it. And the exercises that I'm going to give you, you can do different variations of them. You can do them in a different way, but as long as you're doing it with full effort and full intention and connecting with the muscle that you're working, you're not going to go too far wrong. And you just don't want to overextend your workouts longer than they need to be, because an intense 30 minutes where you're putting it all in, you're going to failure, and you're working out properly, you're using proper form, is much better than an overextended 2 hours. An intense 30 minutes is going to get an intense 30 minutes done consistently is going to get you much further than doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that for 2 hours, and just doing way too many exercises per muscle group. So that takes me on to my next point about exercises. I don't do any kind of training split. I just work out. I just make sure my full body gets worked out each week. So I train weights 4 times a week, and I don't ever use your classic training split. The way I like to do it, and the way I found it more efficient for me, is kind of doing pretty much everything each session. And that might sound mad to some people, but at the end of the day, there aren't really any rules. As long as you're training hard, it doesn't matter. So for my 4-day a week training program, I'm hitting legs every session. So I'm doing a variation of squats. I'm doing an exercise for hamstrings, so either kettlebell swings. They're very good for explosiveness in your hamstrings and keeping athletic agility. I'm doing some calf raises, and I'm either doing RDLs, and I'm kind of rotating between those four. And then for shoulders, I'm always hitting a military press, and I'm doing that for for every exercise. I'm basically doing 3 sets. So one, just a very easy warm-up set just to get the muscle warmed up, and then I'm doing 2 sets straight to failure. So I'm usually, if I'm wanting to go more strength, I'm going in the 4 to 6 rep range, and then I'm just going to failure between 10 and 12 reps, and that's it. The majority of the time I'm always getting in some pull-ups. I'm always doing weighted pull-ups, dips, same again, 2 to 3 sets, and then just keeping the strength and the hypertrophy balanced together between either set. So either 10 reps for the first set, and then between 4 and 6 for strength. So it's always keeping my strength up and my hypertrophy up together at the same time. It's never rotating each week. It's always just boom, boom. I'm getting the hypertrophy and I'm getting the strength each session. And then I'm tracking that. So I'm always progressing and always putting more weight on the bar, doing more reps, trying to do more reps. Obviously not every session, but every month or so. But I'm tracking it. So I know where I was and I know where I'm trying to get to. So the exercises are simple, but the tracking and the systems I put in place are structured. So I'm not doing it aimlessly, basically. So yeah, and then also for back, I'm doing back rows most sessions. Bent over rows is another way of naming them. So I'm just doing the same thing. That's hitting your whole back, and you can scale that. It's not fun to do. It's not fun lifting up that bar, getting into that bent over position and repping out that bar. It's much easier and more inviting to hop on a cable row machine, but you're not going to get the same results doing that. It may be easier and it may be a bit more enjoyable to do, but you're not going to get the same results as a proper bent over row. You're going to be engaging your core more, your legs, and it's going to be activating the entire back, your lats, your rhomboids, all the way up to your rear delts as well. So it's going to have full back activation, and it's worked for me for years. I've been doing that exercise for forever. So yeah. What else? Abs. So abs, try and avoid sit-ups, stuff where you're not using your core, because sit-ups, yeah, you're flexing your abs, but the core goes around the whole of your midsection. So you want to be doing exercises that are really activating your core and strengthening your core, because you get a lot of that activation through things like squats, and you are kind of working out your core indirectly through quite a lot of other movements. But obviously, if you're like me, I like to work my core and focus on it directly. So the main exercises that I do, a lot of people can't do leg raises straight off the bat. It takes a little while to work up. So I would suggest doing a lower ab exercise like leg raises, because it's not often that you see someone with defined lower abs without the upper abs as well. That doesn't happen. So if you can't do a leg raise from the pull-up bar, I would do it from the dip stand. If your gym has one where you can rest your elbows and your forearms on the dip bar, and do it from there, and then slowly work up to doing it from the pull-up bar, where you're going to get full activation of your core and your abs. It's just an amazing exercise. And then you can also target the obliques by going side to side, changing the angle on the leg raise as well. So that's a top exercise, and it cannot be missed. And like I said, this is the foundation that you need, that has got me to where I've got to in the gym. And then you can add things on top as you get more confident, but you need to master these moves because they're just so efficient and they're so good, and there's no bullshit. It just gets you where you want to get to. And the second one would be an ab roller. And this one is so good because the activation of core is just insane, and it can be scaled easily. That's another thing. You want to make sure you can scale these exercises. There's no limit to the overload, the progressive overloads you can put on them. Because a lot of these bodybuilder isolation exercises, they can't be scaled. You can't keep adding and adding weight and progressing as you grow with the exercise. But yeah, getting a little bit off track. But yeah, with the ab roller, you can put a plate on your back if it's getting too easy, but it never really gets too easy. I'm still doing it without a plate. And you can also do it from standing, and that is like hell on earth. So ab roller, biceps, I don't do any fancy hammer curls, Zottman curl, spider curl. I just do a bicep curl, and I just rep them out with heavy weights, go to failure. That's it. Biceps, you don't need much. They're a small muscle. I know they get really, people make a big fuss out of them because they're biceps, and that's the and they're just when you think of working out, you think of being big, you think of how big someone's biceps is, but they don't need much attention. So just bicep curls, heavy, good form, boom, done. Triceps, skull crushers. You probably need to look these up to kind of get an understanding if you haven't heard of them before, but they are basically targeting the long head tricep. So they're a great exercise for getting that hang on your tricep. So I definitely recommend them. And also dips. You don't need to do tricep extensions and stand there with a cable. Just get on the dip bar, because it's not as fun and easy as doing tricep extensions, but you can load it up with weight. You're hitting your chest and you're hitting your triceps, you're hitting your shoulders all at the same time. So it's efficient, and it's always in my rotation and never leaves. I'm constantly trying to build up my dips, because I know building up my dips is just going to build up the upper frame with one exercise. I don't need to be doing loads of different things. If you don't understand by now, that's kind of my philosophy with training. I like things to be as efficient as possible, because I don't have all the time in the world to be in the gym, and which is probably the same for the majority of people. So yeah, what else? So yeah, chest, incline press. I don't do anything else apart from incline press. I don't do flies. I don't do cable flies. I don't do flat. I don't do any of those isolation exercises. Yeah, incline press and dips. That's all I do for chest, and it works great. It works great. You're hitting the largest part of your chest is getting hit, and that's all you need. That's literally all you need. And for biceps, I also do some chin-ups, weighted chin-ups. They're great. There's full activation in your core as well. You're working your back and your triceps at the same time. Always try to get multiple muscles involved in your movements. It's way more efficient. You get a lot more done in a much shorter period of time. Oh, light's gone off. And yeah, it just boosts testosterone, and it gets you to where you want to be much quicker. Yeah, basically. that's pretty much it. And I also, when I feel like a body part's lagging, I then just focus on it more. But I mean, that's a separate video. I won't go into too much of that now. But yeah, I feel like I'm going on a bit now. But I think I've covered a lot, and I hope it's I hope that helps out one of you. And yeah, thanks for clocking in again, and I'll catch you on the next one.